Hello everybody, thanks for joining me today. I want to talk about taking care of yourselves, and I don't necessarily mean taking care of yourself health-wise, making sure you eat a proper diet and stuff like that. I'm talking about taking care of yourself and making sure you have what you need for the future. The meat prices, food prices, it's all going up really high. So watch this video all the way through to the end, because I'll be posting 3 different pictures of packages of meat. Probably won't be going to the store and buy it unless you're a millionaire. That's why I've been trying to preach to my wife a long time ago. She was a city girl. She's always believed in spayed and neutered pets, which we do that to our pets, I agree. But like, I used to have goats, and she'd always say, we're not having any babies. Well, if you have a billy around, the does are going to get bred, and you will be having baby goats. But I always figured I could sell the babies and make money. The does would be fresh, and I could milk them and save me money from having to buy it in the grocery store. Well, I finally got her on my way of thinking. I've been wanting to get goats for a long time. She kept telling me no, because I've had them in the past when our kids were little. Well, now she gave me permission to get a goat or two that I could be milking. I got these pigs, of course. A lot of you viewers have seen my pigs. I still have a few here. I've butchered a couple. My brother butchered one of his, but right now I have 4 pigs on my place that I could be butchering. It don't cost me nothing for the feed. A lot of you seen my videos where I go pick up feed. See, that's what I'm talking about, taking care of yourselves. If there's an opportunity where you can get something where it's going to benefit you, help you out, you need to do it. Even if it's not right then that it's helping you, but it's going to help you down the road. It might be something that somebody else would want, and maybe you could use it to barter. Maybe you could trade something that you're wanting from them. I love the barter system. But I scoop up those beans at my wife's bean plant. She goes to work. She's an essential worker, so it isn't like we're going out of our way to find out if beans are laying along the road. She drives to work every day. Well, she works shift where she'll work a couple days, have a couple days off. But the days she goes to work, she can see that the beans are there. And some days my son works the same facility, so the days my wife's off, all I gotta do is call him and say, hey, is there beans along the road? So I can go get them for somebody else does. So I'm providing feed for my pigs and my chickens for free. The chickens I do have right now, they're meat birds. I do have a hen that is laying, so I get 1 egg a day. I only have 1 hen, and she lays an egg a day. I did buy some chicks the other day. And it'll be a while for they're big enough to start laying, but I'm thinking ahead. It's not going to cost me anything to feed them chickens. It's not cost me anything to feed these pigs, and I'm going to have meat in the freezer. If I had to go buy meat today at the store, I could not afford it. We'd be turning into vegetarians, and a lot of the vegetation that I'd be eating would be on my farm. I'd be eating them nettles that I pick for tea. I'd be eating some of them because you can eat them. I seen a video the other day, and I wished I could remember the channel's name, but they actually roasted them. What they done is they took a little bit of oil and salt, mixed it up, and they put them nettle leaves in it, coated them with the salty oil, put them in the oven, baked them, and made nettle chips. They call them nettle chips, and it was just dried out, crunchy. Kind of like when I put them in the dehydrator. You probably could put them in the dehydrator, do the same thing once you put the oil on them, but dehydrate them is basically what they done. They done them in the oven. They were still green looking, so they basically dehydrated them. They had them on a low temp, and they just crunched them, but they had the oil and salt. They used olive oil, I believe, and it was just a little bit, like 3 teaspoons and half a teaspoon of salt, and then mixed them nettle leaves in there and baked them. I wanted to give a shout out to Brenda Davis, Scrappity Doo Dah. Go check her channel out if you haven't. Her husband works. She's a stay-home wife, but she don't always stay home. She goes around on the curbs on trash day and picks up any scrap metal and stuff like that that she can take to the salvage yard and make a little extra money. She gets in dumpsters and dumpster dives. She goes behind these department stores and finds good stuff. She goes to a couple grocery stores once in a while and she finds good food, good produce and such that they've thrown out. And there's going to be a lot more people doing that. And I'm proud of you, Brenda. Just keep it up. Because when everybody else in this country's being hungry or starving, at least you'll be eating as long as you can still get that stuff out of the dumpster. Things are going to get hard, people. Things are going to get hard. As I was talking a little bit earlier in the video, part of this is going to be edited, so that part I was talking about earlier might not be in there, so I'll repeat myself maybe, but you're going to have to start scrounging on your properties if you can and find edibles. I have wild raspberries growing on my property. I have mulberry trees, just wild mulberries. The birds eat their seed and crap them out, and I got tons of mulberry trees on my property. I've picked them before and made some tried making mulberry jelly, and I end up turning on to mulberry syrup, which is great on pancakes. Grandkids love it. Them dandelions that everybody talks about eating, and I done a video a few weeks ago about picking dandelions and having them dandelion fritters, I think somebody called them, where you actually pick the flower and you basically put a batter on them and fry them. You might want to collect some dandelions. You can dehydrate them, use them for tea. I suppose you could probably dehydrate them and rehydrate them later on and then batter them up and fry them. Still get the same nutrients, I'm sure. The nettles, you can eat them. Matter of fact, the other day I done a video of my grandson. He does like the tea. I actually made him some yesterday. Both of them, Wyatt and Logan, both got tea yesterday. And after I actually brewed the tea, Wyatt will eat the leaves. Logan ate them too the first time. I said, you know, these leaves are edible. Can't get the kid to sit down and try spinach, but he'll eat them nettle leaves after I brewed his tea. Takes them right out of the little Keurig coffee strainer, the reusable strainer. He takes them right out and eats them, and drinks a cup of tea, so he's getting all the nutrients out of them plants. But you're gonna have to start scrounging. I've been finding a lot of them pheasant back. That's the generic name for them, pheasant back mushrooms. You might want to go and see if you can't find some. They grow on elm trees. But I found a whole bunch yesterday, which I'd done a video on it, and I'm going to see if I can't find a way to preserve them, whether I have to dehydrate them, maybe put them in the freezer, vacuum seal them, freeze them, I don't know. I'm going to see if there's anybody that's done a video on how to preserve them so I could use them for later use, like maybe in a soup or whatever. But things are going to get hard, people. I'm going to give you one more example before I go on ways of thinking of the future. I have a walk-behind tractor and baler, and I bale a lot of grass. I have some brome grass on my place I can bale. I have a small patch of alfalfa up behind my house that I bale that, and I use the hay to feed my miniature horses. Sorry about this tractor driving by. But I bale this grass and alfalfa to feed my 2 miniature horses, so I'm not having to go out and buy hay for them. I know a walk-behind tractor and baler is expensive to buy, so a lot of you aren't just going to run out and buy one. But I did, and it's paid for. I don't owe anything on it, and it's an expensive piece of equipment, the tractor and baler and such. But the county comes along the highway here. I'm right here by the highway. Here's the grass. As you see, they mowed along here yesterday, and I actually picked up grass up through here just by hand yesterday, and some over here, and I fed it to my horses. But I'll walk on down here. You can see where I quit picking grass up. There's some laying right there and there. All along there is grass. There's a patch, and then I started picking some up here, and I threw it over to my pigs. There's some more. But this grass down along the shoulder of this road goes clear down this highway. 3 miles to the stop sign. There's grass down along this ditch. Well, what I'm doing is thinking about the future. We had rain yesterday. They mowed it yesterday and it's rained, so it's all wet. And it's gonna only lay here a couple days, and then we're supposed to have rain here in a couple days again. I don't know if it'll dry out enough where I could take my baler along here and bale it. So what I'm doing is I'm scooping this grass up. I'm throwing it over to my horses. And the purpose of that is I'm feeding my horses this fresh green grass, which is good for them. But it's saving me from having to go get a bale of hay that I have in storage to feed them rather than feed this. Because the more grass I pick up and feed them now, that's that many more bales that I have later to feed them down the road. Or it leaves me more grass in my hay supply that I could possibly sell down the road, because I know somebody's going to be needing hay for their goats, for their sheep, for their horses, for their calves, cows, whatever. And that way I have hay in my supply to sell for cash, so I can go buy other things that I might need. That's what I talk about, saving for the future, or you know, protecting yourself for the future. The more grass I pick up and feed them horses now, that's that many more bales of hay that I have in my barn that I can sell at a later date, or use at a later date. But I have all summer long to get more grass put up for the horses for this winter, and have extra bales to sell. So the more I feed now that's mowed along the road, that didn't cost me anything to mow, the county mowed it, the more I can pick up and feed to my horses, the less I'm getting into my hay supply and wasting, basically. I look at, not that it's a waste, but it is wasting when I could be selling it to somebody else or saving it for this winter. Because I'm sure things are gonna get hard. Hay prices will probably go up, along with food prices, along with everything else that's going up. So let's be smart, people, and let's just think about the future, prepare. Don't wait till it's there and then say, oh no, what do I do? Think about what's going to happen, or think about what could happen. I ain't saying things are going to be terrible forever, but you know, when back in the day, not that many years ago, gas was $1 something a gallon, and then we had the gas shortage or whatever the case was, and gas was getting $5, $6, $8 a gallon. And of course, a lot of that was price gouging, and that only stayed that way for a little while, and then all of a sudden it went back down, but went down to like $2.50, $3 a gallon. And look, it stayed there forever. Now places are selling gas for $2 on down. There's some places selling for just a little less than $1. And that gas price ain't gonna stay down forever either. Food prices are going up, the gas will eventually go back up too. So think about the future, people. Help yourselves. Don't rely on the government to help you, because they're not going to. The stimulus check, look at these meat prices, and that $1,200 that some of you may have gotten, it ain't gonna go very far. Not with the meat prices. You check them out. I'm telling you, you gotta be prepared. You gotta be prepared. Well, enough of me rambling on. I know it's kind of a long video. I'm gonna try and edit as much out as I can between this one and the first time when I was videoing and ran out of battery. Shorten it up where I can. But like I said, think of ways to save money. Think of ways to help yourself out, because the government's not gonna do it. Well, thank you. God bless all of you. Don't forget I love you. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Man, I have trouble saying subscribe. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next one. And don't forget, I truly do love you. Bye.